Hey, I know I haven't posted for a while, so I'll give you guys a little catch up on what's going on in my life. Um, I've had a bunch of medical issues, and because of that, I have just had a lot of anxiety. And the political situation that we're in also gives me a tremendous amount of anxiety. So, doing social media is something that I've had a really hard time doing. I know it's important for my business. I know it's important for, you know, selling books and everything. But right now, I think it's more important for me to acknowledge the fact that every single woman in the world is depending on this next election. I came across a Reddit and a woman had posted that, you know, even though she's in a blue state, even though she had uh, tubal ligation, she doesn't feel comfortable having sex. And in the comments, there's many people talking about how, they could be menopausal or premenopausal and they still don't want to have sex. So basically, right now, it feels to me like there's a war between men and women and the rights of women. And I can clearly remember the day that Roe was overturned. I was in at a doctor's appointment and it was at a hospital. And I decided they asked me, how's it going? What, you know, how are you doing today? Basically, just basic check in. And it was the day after Roe, and I lost it. I said, I'm not doing well. Women no longer have rights. We don't have control over what's going on in our bodies. And I freaked the fuck out. I cried, I screamed, I was going mentally insane. And because it was at the hospital, my appointment, they set me up immediately with a care worker, like a social worker. And, ever since then, I've been getting therapy every week. Um, I'm working on my third therapist now, not because there was anything wrong with the therapist, just, therapists change jobs. And the only solution that we have in sight is that my husband Gandalf, which you all know, is getting a vasectomy in a few weeks. And I'm going to do everything I can for him to prepare. I'm going to make his favorite foods. I'm going to, give him ice and, do the dishes. That's his job. But I'm going to do the dishes and do everything I can because I really appreciate him doing that for me. And even though I'm in perimenopause, even though I'm in a blue state, I have fear of carrying around a dead fetus if I have sex. So people may think it's illogical, especially men. But like I said, I was on Reddit this morning and I saw that so many women just do not feel comfortable. Women who have had, the surgery, both them and their spouse have had the surgery to not have kids, living in a blue state, and they just don't feel comfortable. It's mentally messed up. Many women are saying, I'm not going to have sex at all. I'm not going to be with a man. I wonder, would these women be doing this if this wasn't happening? You know, I mean, a lot of women that I know are bisexual, but a lot of women that I know, are very into men, their physical body. But how can you be attracted to somebody? How can you let your inhibitions flow free when you're scared about what the outcome could be? I am on so many medications for my autoimmune diseases that if somehow I did get pregnant, it would be non-viable. I would have to carry a dead embryo, and the right would say, "Oh, you know, you're killing a baby." No, I'm not. I'm killing a cell mass, I'm getting rid of of a defective cell mass. It's like removing skin cancer. Okay. See this spot on my eye right here? That is from sun exposure when I was younger. And the thing is, as you get older and older, your body will have these spots, and they have to be treated, just like how I have to take all these medications every day. And I'm really surprised about how many people are joining this live. I think this is the first live I've ever done. But I had the need to say that if you're a man and you're out there and you don't understand what's going on with women, then you better educate yourself. There's a play that I read, and it's called Lysisteria, I think is I cannot pronounce this. It's a Greek play. And the women in the play decided to all withhold sex in order to, stop war. And they all made an agreement, that they would not have sex. Also, I think that they were saying that they wouldn't, take care of themselves. So they were actually able to stop the war because the woman who was with the war leader, said, "You're not getting any until, the war stops." We as women have so much power because a lot of people rely on us. Okay. And I'm not just talking about the role of a wife, the role as a mother. I'm talking about the fact that women take care of the world. Okay. The majority of women have been involved in somehow making their city, town, community a better place, creating charities, helping people pay for things. And I'm not saying that men don't do that, but what I am saying is that a lot of the women that I know, like every single woman I know, has done something in order to help her community. Whereas there's tons of men that I've known in the past and currently who haven't done anything, they just sit around and complain. And one of those people was someone who lived with us for a period of time. And he just would complain about everything in his life and expect me and my husband to do everything for him, like fill out applications and tell him like basically how to live his life, because he couldn't do it. He couldn't fill out things. He didn't know where to go, whereas women I see are always helping others with this. They'll be like, "Oh, you want to apply for disability? Let me help you with that application." Or, "Oh, you can't get childcare? Let me call around to see if I can find someone." And I'm not saying that men don't do that ever. I'm just saying that women are mostly the caregivers of this world, and they're in charge of making sure we have food, making sure we have shelter, making sure that we have love, making holidays amazing, you know, getting candy for the trick-or-treaters, getting presents for Christmas, making sure the turkey is done, on Thanksgiving. I have a friend who has never wanted to cook a day in their life, and they are forced by their parent to prepare food for them. And, you know, it's because they were born a woman. And I just think that's wrong. I think it's wrong that they are responsible for this, you know, and they should be able to choose, do I want to make this food or not? You know, I think that a lot of women have spoken up during this time period. And I think a lot of women have withheld sex. My husband and I have only done it 3 times since Roe, just because mentally I can't get there. I can't feel safe. Even though this is the man I've been with for decades, even though I live in a blue state, my mind just can't wrap itself around it. And I feel so grateful to be with someone who actually loves me, who actually cares for me. I mean, he is my caregiver. He is my, he takes care of me because of all my illnesses. And I think that that is a very strong act of love. How many men do you know who have quit their jobs to take care of a woman? Because what I've seen is there'll be a lot of men who are divorcing their wives when they find out that their wife is sick or their wife can't have any more kids or some crap like that, you know? And I think about people who are in committed relationships, but like where the guy barely does anything and still expects, that. And the guy doesn't, even help the woman pay her bills. Like, I definitely agree with like 50-50. Everything should be balanced, everything should be equal. But when you love someone, when you are in a relationship with someone, it can be a huge act of love to say, I'm going to help take care of take care of you, you know? I'm going to pay the rent this month, or I'm going to buy the groceries for the whole month because you've had a rough month. You don't have very much money and I want to help you out. That's how it should be. And, you know, in your house, you want to have a discussion about who does what chores. Now, my husband and I do generally go towards our gender in chores, but that simply happened because of my illnesses. I used to be the one mowing the lawn. I used to be the one, taking out the trash, and he was the one doing, the laundry and the vacuuming and everything. But as I got older and sicker, I have not been able to do those things. I can't lift anything heavy. So we have the lawn done by someone, in our neighborhood, and that's great. But he does the dishes, he does the laundry, he does a lot of the chores because of me being ill. But he does the dishes, he does the laundry, he does a lot of the chores because of me being ill. And, um, I do the cooking, but I still need help. I have to get pans put on the stove, heavy cast iron pans, things like that, or getting the blender out, things like that. Um, and because of my illness, I can't always cook, and he has to do it. But he does it not just because he wants food, but because he knows it'll be easier on me. He'll take care of me. And when I feel horrible and I don't want to eat anything because I have Crohn's, he'll make me my favorite snack, freshly popped popcorn. And that cheers me up and it gives me something to eat that's really plain. And for some reason, I don't have a problem with popcorn. Some people with diverticulitis have problems with popcorn, but I do not. Um, and that's like one of my favorite smells. I love waking up to the smell of fresh popcorn. And I love being with someone who just really cares for me. So anyway, those are the things that I wanted to talk about today. I hope that the people in your life are supporting you, and maybe you can use this video to help talk about how you feel. So I'm thinking about all of you. I'm thinking about all the women. I'm thinking about men who do want to be supportive, feminists, allies. And I'm thinking about everyone in the LGBTQI community, because they're not just coming for women's rights. They're coming for everyone's rights. And there's women out there, there's people out there on hormones that need it for other reasons than birth control. So anyway, please take care of each other. Please support women, and please vote as soon as possible for your rights, especially locally where you could be codifying Roe, which is what is happening in my state this time in Maryland. So take care. Thank you so much for joining.